What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how I made this. Beautiful, delicious, smoky, glazed, sticky, amazing Huli chicken. That's right, folks, we're making a classic barbecue Hawaiian chicken served with a macaroni salad and a lovely dipping sauce. Coming up. This is a chicken. Oh, that's a juicer. Pat it dry. And what I've got here is a pretty standard run-of-the-mill chicken weighing in right around 5 to 6 pounds. Just picked this up at my local HEB for a whopping total of like $8. And with the way current meat prices are going, getting a whole chicken for $8 is a pretty good deal. But as those of you who actually watch my videos all the way to the very end may already know, a few weeks back, me and Bones traveled down to Australia and had a really great time. Cooked at a few barbecue festivals, shot a few videos, so if you haven't seen those vids yet, I highly recommend checking those out. They're a lot of fun. But on our way back from Australia, we decided to pop into Hawaii for a few days to help break up the flights and, just relax and unwind a little bit. The girlfriends flew out and met us out there, but unfortunately I didn't get enough content to make a whole video about it. But one of the things we ate when we were over there was some Huli chicken, so I'll roll that footage right now. Now, out of the many Hawaiian dishes that I want to knock off the list while we're here, one of them is Huli chicken. And people kept telling me just find one on the side of the road, and we just drove by one. So let's go check it out. Have you had Huli chicken before?
Yes. A long time ago, though.
In Italy?
Yep, that was it.
So, from what I know, huli is the Hawaiian word meaning to spin or to rotate. So, Huli chicken is just any chicken cooked on a rotisserie. And by the smell of it, it's got some classic Hawaiian flavors going on. A little soy sauce, a little bit of smoke from that charcoal. Let's go for it. A little drumstick action. Very tender. Well, we lucked out. We got the very last chicken plate, and it was quite tasty, you know? Not super bold in flavor, but had a good little soy sauce kick, a little sweetness to it. Definitely try again. Bones, how would you describe Huli chicken?
It's very moist.
It's very moist. I'm thinking there might be like pineapple juice in there or something.
Yeah.
Because it had that kind of tightened, cured vibe, but it was also super tender.
Slightly hammy. I feel like the skin didn't have like a lot of flavor to it.
Right.
Like I thought it would be like spiced a lot.
That's what I was thinking too. Just like a lot of the other chicken variants, you got a lot of spice, a lot of bold flavor profiles, and almost a little more tame. It's still very good though.
It's very good. And the Huli sauce, that is really good.
Which is like a sweet soy sauce, but thinner.
Yeah, sesame, ginger
kind of like shoyu-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the sauce. The chicken was delicious as far as like being tender and moist, but I also had shrimp too.
The shrimp was surprisingly good.
And the mac salad.
The mac salad. It's a classic.
I mean, it's a Hawaiian thing. When you're here, you gotta eat a bunch of mayonnaise and noodles.
That's a rule.
All in all, I'm a big fan of Huli chicken. I think it's super tender, very flavorful, and the only reason I was downplaying like the bold flavors of it was because the last video I shot before going on that trip was the peri chicken video, which definitely has a lot bolder flavors, so I think I kind of went into the Huli chicken with that in mind. But in hindsight, looking back on it, Huli chicken is just super flavorful, really tender, super juicy grilled chicken, and I'm all about it. So that's what we're gonna make today. But taking a look at this bird, I don't think there's really all that much we need to do. I'll go ahead and check in here and see if there's anything hiding. How you doing? Save that for stock. Ooh, very nice. And truth be told, I've been struggling all week with how I'm gonna cook this thing because, as we were just talking about, the word huli means to flip. So I could very easily turn this into half chickens and just flip it over a few times on the chud box and probably get away with calling it Huli chicken. But the ones we had were cooked on a giant rotisserie. And they also appeared to be spatchcocked chickens. And I've never actually tried to rotisserie cook a spatchcocked bird, but judging by how tender the meat was that I ate, without their specific contraption, I'm really worried that this would just fall apart and burn up in the flames. I did buy this little basket, but when it showed up, it's a lot smaller than I was expecting it to be, so if we spatchcocked a bird, I don't think it's gonna fit in there. This would be good for a half chicken though, but I've got a whole chicken. So I think the path of least resistance while still using the rotisserie is just to keep this bird whole. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. So now I'm gonna set this bird aside for a little bit because we gotta go ahead and make ourselves a marinade. Started by grating in some garlic, as well as some fresh ginger, followed by some pineapple juice, some soy sauce, some rice vinegar, some ketchup, some brown sugar, and if you're feeling frisky, a little sriracha. And get that thoroughly mixed up. And because I don't feel like waiting for this to cool down, I'm not gonna heat it up to melt the sugar, so I'm just gonna make sure that I mix this up really well. That smells really good. I'm gonna throw a bunch of green onions in there as well. Why not? And as far as marinating this goes, I was planning on putting this in a gallon Ziploc bag, but taking a look at that compared to the bag, I think this chicken is too big, and I don't have any bags bigger than that. Maybe it'll just go in this bowl. Will it overflow? Perhaps. Oh yeah, that works. Got a little bit of the back skin poking out, but that's fine because there's mostly bone back here anyway, but I'll still probably come through and flip this around a couple times. But I'm gonna wrap it up. And now into the fridge this goes overnight. And one other thing we can knock out tonight, because it too will be better tomorrow, is a classic macaroni salad. Because if you're talking about Hawaiian food, it's not gonna be long before you're talking about mac salad. So I got a bunch of water up to a boil here. I'm gonna salt that pretty heavily and go in with 1 pound of macaroni noodles. Give that a stir to make sure nothing sticks or burns to the bottom, and we're gonna cook the hell right out of it. And the reason why we're gonna overcook these noodles on purpose is because 1, they're gonna get a lot bigger, so we'll have a bigger yield. 2, they're gonna absorb a bunch of water, meaning we're gonna have to use less mayonnaise, so it'll be a little less greasy. And 3, they'll be super soft and very pleasurable to eat. So my package says about 10 minutes on this. I'm probably gonna go about 20. And while those noodles boil away, and once our noodles are looking nice and big and nice and soft, out they come into a colander. Crazy how much these expand. And now I'm gonna go run some cold water over these noodles, which is gonna help remove some extra starch while cooling them down a little bit. And once rinsed and drained, I'm now gonna go over the top with a little apple cider vinegar, a couple tablespoons, and get that all mixed around. As for our dressing, in this bowl, I've got a couple cups of some Best Foods mayonnaise, to which I'm gonna go in with a little bit of milk, some white sugar, kosher salt, black pepper, our finely shredded carrot, half of a small shredded yellow onion, as well as some scallion greens. Little pop of color, not fully necessary. And get that all mixed up. Super simple. And once all mixed up, in we go with our cooked noodles. And get that all mixed together. Man, it's crazy how much mac salad you get out of 1 pound of tiny noodles. And this may be looking a little bit soupy at this stage, but all those noodles are gonna absorb all this liquid while it sits in the fridge overnight. This video is brought to you by Hone Health. Hone Health is a longevity telehealth clinic rated the #1 TRT clinic for men by both Forbes Health and WebMD. They're physician-led hormone care with 40+ biomarker testing and meds shipped right to your door. They prescribe testosterone replacement therapy, hair loss treatment, sexual health treatment, and many more. And how it works is simple. You buy the test, book and complete your blood draw at a local lab, have your virtual doctor consult, then you receive your personalized treatment plan and meds are shipped right to your door. And I'm no medical professional, obviously, but Homes will connect you with a licensed physician who will go all over the risks and benefits of your treatment. And according to the American Urological Association, testosterone decreases by 1 to 3% per year after age 40, which can lead to a lot of things like belly fat, fatigue, muscle loss, low mood, low libido. And most guys just blame getting older, but things can be done about it. And getting older doesn't have to mean feeling worse. So if you want to get started today, click my link in the description box down below or scan the QR code on screen now to check out Hone Health and get $100 off. Again, I'll have a link down below or scan the QR code on screen now to check out Hone Health and get $100 off. Thank you, Hone Health. We're about 24 hours in on this marinade, so let's see how it's looking. Smells good. And I did come and flip this chicken over when I woke up this morning, so hopefully we got some good marination all around. But out it comes, definitely looking a little bit darker, feeling a little bit more tender. Make sure we get as much marinade off of this as possible, because we don't want a cavity full of marinade going everywhere. But it's looking and smelling really good. So I'm gonna let it sit on this tray for a little bit, let any excess marinade fall off the sides while we go ahead and fire up the pit. Got the old Chud box here coming up to temp, so now it's time to load this chicken onto the spit. Send it through the little trap door there. Go on with spike #1. Then, right up the old chicken butt. And in the past when I've done rotisserie chickens, I usually tie the chicken up, but I didn't see any string in Hawaii, so we're just gonna go for it. Try to get these hooks deep into some of the meaty parts. And then on with spike #2. Pop through the hole over here and into the machine. Get the chicken centered and make sure everything is locked down nice and tight. And if everything goes according to plan, all I gotta do now is turn it on. Yeah! And if you look, I did get the legs crisscrossed in there, so hopefully it should stay nice and secure. And taking a look at it, I'm a little worried these wing tips might burn up, so I'm gonna see if I can get those tucked in somewhere. Just tucked back like that. That should keep the tips from burning up or the whole wing falling off, but they're probably gonna get pretty hammered sticking out like that. But I'm okay with it. And I know this has already been marinated, but I think a little extra texture and flavor on the outside wouldn't hurt. So I got a little just chud rub here. My all-purpose rub, got some good color, good pepper content to it. And honestly, now that I'm doing this, I wish I had a rotisserie for seasoning everything that I cook, because this is really convenient. Although I doubt they're using chud rub in Hawaii, but probably some sort of paprika-based rub on the outside. And from here, it's a pretty straightforward cook. I got the pit up to about 250 degrees right now for a nice low and slow start. Might bump that up to about 275, 300 as it cooks, just to make sure we get this cooked in a reasonable amount of time. And I don't have any authentic Hawaiian wood, but from what I understand, what they use over there is a form of mesquite. So I just went to the wood pile, grabbed some logs, and threw them on the old chop saw real quick. Now I'm gonna pitch a couple of these down in there, periodically, just to get a little extra smoke, maybe a little live fire going, and add some wonderful flavor. And while that chicken flips and cooks away, I'm gonna go ahead and take all of our extra marinade here and pour it off into this pot. And I'm gonna bring this up to a simmer and let it cook for a couple of minutes just to cook off any raw chicken juices that are in there so we can use this as a basting liquid. We're about an hour into this cook. As you can see, we're rocking right around 250 over here. Fire is looking good. Got a nice little chunk of wood right there smoldering away. Been keeping that on the first notch, and let's see what this bird is looking like. Ooh. Also, side note, make sure you tighten that thing because I forgot to do that at first and the whole spit almost fell into the fire. But color-wise, we're looking really nice, looking nice and juicy. You can see the juices kind of rolling all around this thing, giving us some nice color, some nice shine, about $1.20 internal. And I do want to start basting this thing, but I don't want to start too early because of how much sugar is in that sauce. I don't want it to burn necessarily, but I do want to get some good layers on there. So I think I'm just going to go for it. Got our sauce, going to keep it in the pot here, and just every, I don't know, 20 minutes or so, just come out and paint a little bit of this on there. Help keep things nice and juicy, get a little bit of that caramelization, and let some of this sauce kind of cook onto the meat. Looking very nice, gonna maintain temps, and we'll check back in a little bit. We are about 2 hours and 45 minutes into this chicken cook, and I'm calling it done. Just clocked in the breasts at 155 degrees. The legs are a little bit hotter, around that 165, 170 mark. It smells incredible, and it was a really easy cook, you know? Nothing fell off, nothing fell apart, just kept spinning, which is great. And unfortunately, the color is not nearly as uniform as I would have liked, but that's kind of the deal with rotisserie chickens like this, because whenever it springs a leak or juices start running, it just wraps around. So I was probing it right there, so when the juices started running, it just kind of kept wrapping around so the glaze wouldn't stick. Wings got pretty hammered, but that was to be expected. They're sticking out the furthest. But all in all, it looks incredibly juicy, incredibly shiny, so now it's time to pull it off. So I'm just going to loosen these claws so we can slide this thing out, park a tray right underneath it, and there we go. So fresh off the pit, I'm gonna let this chicken carry over and cool down a little bit. I'm gonna leave these probes in there because I feel like if I pull them out while this thing is ripping hot, it's gonna spill out a lot of juices. I might go around and try and fix some of these bald spots a little bit, but we don't need to tell anybody about that. Over here, I got my sauce cooking down a little bit just to reduce it, heat it up a little bit so we can use it as a dipping sauce. And we need to check back in on our mac salad. And as you can see, all that mayo and sauce definitely got absorbed into this macaroni. It's not looking nearly as soupy as it was last night, which is exactly what we want. And honestly, that looks pretty good. But if you wanted to add a little bit more mayonnaise or milk or something to moisten it up a little bit, now would be a great time to do that. I might throw a small dollop of mayo in there just to give it a little bit more creaminess. And then taste and adjust, and our mac salad is ready to go. Ooh, beautiful. So I let this glaze reduce for like 5-10 minutes, really not that long at all. Then I strained it out and I gave it a taste, and it was a little bit too acidic. So I decided to chip a few pads of butter in there to fatten it up a little bit, and I gotta tell you, it is absolutely fantastic. I wanna drink it, but let's carve into that chicken. Starting, of course, by getting these spikes out of here. Ooh, sticky. Oops. It looks so tasty, I don't even want to cut into it, but I do want to try that mac salad, and yeah, let's dive in. Many ways to go about doing this, but I think I might just go right through the middle here. I don't think I've ever done that before, just cut a chicken right in half from whole, but there it is. Get a drumstick, get a thigh, just rip this chicken wing off. Breast meat, easy. Uh-oh, a little piece of skin fell off. I did kind of want to break it down rustically because that's what they're doing in Hawaii, just usually taking a big old butcher knife to it, but let's go for it. Let's start now with the drumstick. Good Lord, that is so tender. Whoa, so juicy, so flavorful, so sticky. It's like velvety, and just incredibly juicy. Wow, that is absolutely fantastic. That's just a great bite of chicken right there. You know, it's tender, it's juicy, it's got a nice kiss of smoke and flame to it without being too overpowering, which is something I was a little worried about because I really don't cook with mesquite wood all that often, but it works incredibly well with this, especially because it's such a sweet and complex marinade and glaze all over it. Works very nicely. The sweetness and the salinity are perfectly dialed in, which is great because I didn't really put any additional seasoning on, except for that light dusting of chud rub, which I can't see any pepper, so I don't know what happened to that. You know, we got some charring in some spots, but that is very much to be expected when you're cooking a sugary brined piece of chicken. Well, I got this thigh here. That is outrageous. Oh, it's so sweet, but not too sweet. Got that nice soy kick to it, that tropical vibe with the pineapple juice. Don't even need the dipping sauce, but maybe for the breast meat. But that is so good. Nice, juicy looking piece of breast meat. Give that a quick little dip. Oh yeah, that looks good. Okay, that sauce is good. It's just so much brighter than the glaze that's been cooked onto the chicken, so it actually works out really well. Brooke,
Yeah.
would you like to try some Huli chicken?
Okay. I've had it only once before. Let's start with the breasts. When we tried this, we got like a spicy version, right? What did I have that was spicy?
Shrimp.
The shrimp was good.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the mac salad.
Oh, yeah.
You know, mac salad seems like one of those things that should just be gross.
Yeah. It's like,
Overcooked noodles with a bunch of mayonnaise. But it just works. It just screams summertime, you know what I mean?
this is a really summery dish.
Right?
It's sweet. It's tender.
Very tender.
I don't like macaroni salad, but that's really good. It's not like super mayonnaise-y. Not like gross and uber gooey.
Yeah, the trick is to make it the day before so it has time to absorb everything, so it's not just a bunch of wet noodles
Yeah.
sitting in mayonnaise. It kind of comes together. All the starches kind of bloom.
But this is really good. And I like the carrots.
It is interesting how this tastes completely different than the shoyu chicken that I've been making. Because it's pretty much a lot of the exact same ingredients,
Oh, really?
but this is just a different vibe altogether.
This almost has like a barbecue vibe to it, but there's a different twist.
Yeah, it's like teriyaki, but a little bit
Yes.
more tropical
Yes.
because of the pineapple. It's got some acidity to it.
I'm glad you said that because I was like, what is that flavor? But I feel like it's very similar too.
I feel like it's less sweet than teriyaki too.
Less sweet, a little more tang.
How does it compare to the huli we had in Hawaii?
This is delicious. This is going to be great over the next week.
Yeah, I feel like this one might be packing a little bit more flavor than the one we had over there. But then again, we did get the very last chicken of the day, and they serve like 300 chickens a day at that spot, so can't be judging them too harshly.
Yeah.
Nice recipe to have in the back pocket because it's really simple ingredients. It's just a marinade overnight, then the marinade turns into the sauce, like a lot of these, you know, different cuisine chicken dishes I've been making. And this one is like so much different than the peri-peri or the tandoori or,
Yeah.
you know, all the other chickens I've made over the years. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat more. Coming up. And with this bite of Huli chicken, I think it's time for the official taste test. All right, y'all, and that is it. That is how to make some absolutely fantastic Huli chicken. I highly recommend giving this one a try. You know, super cheap piece of meat, super simple marinade, relatively quick cook, and what you're left with is some super juicy, super tender, incredibly flavorful chicken that is absolutely perfect for the summertime. And definitely something I'll be making again very soon. But all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button. Let YouTube know by dropping a like on this video. If you give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chuds BBQ. I'd love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to all the Team Chud members over at teamchud.com. Thank you for supporting this channel and allowing me to keep making all these videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace.